Hey you guys, this is Jeff, Bookhouse Boy. We got an unboxing today, and it's a big deal. It's a big deal for me because this book and the story in this book represent one of my oldest, coolest memories. I've been into ghost stories and haunted house stories since I was a little kid. I did not read this book when I was a little kid, but I did see the movie that was based on this book when I was very, very young. Loved it. It was one of my favorite movies as a tiny kid, and it's still one of my favorite movies to this day. This book by Shirley Jackson, published in 1959, this is the biggie, right? This is iconic in a way that no other haunted house book is. And you know what I'm talking about. This is The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. This is just a little Penguin version that I picked up years and years ago and I've read many times. I love it. It's a great version, and it's traveled with me, which is one of the fantastic things about paperbacks. I've always had my eye out for a first edition of the book. And it's a funny thing because I'm going to talk as I open so that this doesn't go on forever. In my last video I was talking about the fact that the first editions of a book are not always the best editions because later versions might have spectacular artwork, dust jackets, the paper that's used, the printing, all of that good stuff, which is very true. It's funny, and I have some great versions. I have some current versions of some classics that I love for just those reasons. The Haunting of Hill House has been published recently by an amazing publisher, and is coming out again this year, being published by yet a different amazing publisher who I love. Not my jam, either of those. And if you know the story, I think that you'll understand why, which is because when this was adapted into a movie in 1963, directed by Robert Wise, shot in black and white, Julie Harris playing Eleanor, Claire Bloom playing Theodora, Russ Tamblyn, it's amazing. It is an absolute classic. And the thing of it is that when Jan de Bont remade the movie with Liam Neeson and some other wonderful actors, he veered so far off course that that movie was laughable and not in a good way. The Haunting was also recently remade by Netflix. And though there were aspects of it that I liked, and it reworked the story in a really cool way, I was really disappointed by the fact that it ended on such a happy note. And it's not that I don't love happy endings, because I do, unless the ending is not meant to be happy. And the ending of The Haunting of Hill House is not meant to be happy. So, to that end, for me, those newer, spectacular, beautifully bound versions of The Haunting of Hill House are kind of like the Jan de Bont version of this book. So for me, I've been looking, like I said, for an original version of The Haunting of Hill House for a long time, and finally found one. I finally found one that I can afford. I should clarify that. Here we go. Also interesting, really quick, the title of the book and of some subsequent spooky movies and spooky books caused a little bit of confusion for some folks in years past. Why? Because, as I said, the book titled The Haunting of Hill House, when it was turned into a film, the film was called The Haunting. This was confusing for folks sometimes, especially when Richard Matheson ended up publishing another amazing freaking haunted house book called Hell House. Not Hill House, not the haunting of Hell House, but just Hell House, not to be confused with The Haunting or The Haunting of Hill House. And of course, then there's the Vincent Price classic, The House on Haunted Hill, also not to be confused with The Haunting of Hill House or The Haunting or Hell House. That said, I'm gonna keep opening up. Here we go. The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. There's something about the subdued nature of this cover, the quiet nature of this artwork that suits the story so well, I think. It's awesome. What we could also do is to gently take off the dust jacket and look at the book itself. Really cool, kind of a peacock blue color with this mustard. I'm not sure what this is called. I used to know. I can't remember anymore. But then it transitions into this mustard color. And yeah, published by the Viking Press, New York, 1959. That's it. So, yeah, I mean, it's an amazing book. It is so scary and so creepy, and part of what's amazing about it is that unlike a lot of other haunted house stories, and unlike even Jan de Bont's version of this story, in this book, you never see a thing. There are no giant ghosts crawling out of paintings. There are no horrible monsters sliding up from the cellar. But it is the scariest freaking thing. It's so cool. Within, walls continued upright, bricks met neatly, floors were firm, and doors were sensibly shut. Silence lay steadily against the wood and stone of Hill House, and whatever walked there walked alone. You can't do any better than that. There's nothing else to say. There are no more words. The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. If you have not read it, you gotta check it out. It's amazing. Till next time, this is Bookhouse Boy. Thanks.